Melissa is one of these people, and this time she's outdone herself. So I am going to ask Melissa to introduce her friend and our speaker, Christian Robey.
Thank you. Okay, I know you're eating, but wake up. I've known Christian since I joined the Media Research Center board in 2015. He was always one of my favorite employees at the MRC. He's hardworking, dedicated, smart, and thoughtful. He asks questions that make you think, and he's obviously already thought about it. A few years ago, a project headed by Newt Gingrich did research on Americans' perceptions of conservatives, Republicans, Democrats, and liberals. They found that the terms Republican and conservatives had very negative connotations. All you had to say was, I'm a Republican, and they wanted nothing to do with you. They also found, however, that when asked about their values, many who didn't like the term conservative or Republican shared the same values that we hold. So how do you convince those who dislike the terms but share the values that they're not voting for the right people or programs? That's where Our America came in. Starting from scratch, Christian put together a board of directors and a dedicated staff with the purpose of uniting communities around a sense of pride in America and what makes her flourish. Their vision is a time when Americans can be patriotic and not be seen as political, when civil discourse can take place rather than shouting and name-calling, and when standing up for America is more than standing against each other. That sounds good to me. So please welcome Christian Robey.
Okay, is this for me right here? There's water. I'm going to assume that this is for me. All right. Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you to the Emorys. The Emorys have just pampered me. I'm not used to this. I've kind of escaped. I have at home. I have 5 boys, and from 6 to 16, and they're all great, of course. But sometimes it's like Lord of the Flies at home. So when I get away, it's very quiet, and I get 2 meals. And so the Emorys have been just wonderful, beautiful people. And thank you to the ladies on the right too for inviting me here. Thank you very much. I have very good memories of Georgia whenever I come down. So we live in Washington, which is, I'm not good at being subtle. Sometimes I am, but for the most part I'm not. Washington is a very cutthroat town, right? And the people there are often very mean. Sometimes they're nice to you, but it's a tough town. But the further south you come, the nicer people get. And so when we took our boys to the mountains in northwest Georgia, and I remember my wife was in the grocery store getting groceries, and someone said, "Ma'am, can I help you get something?" And she was alarmed. It was like up in one of the top shelves, and she's a short woman, and she was alarmed, but they were just being nice. So Georgia is a beautiful place, and you're beautiful people, so I'm so glad to be here. Okay, now, with that buttering you up, I come here in peace, but I'm going to stir the pot a little bit. I mean, it'll be kind of fun, right? And to do that, I'm going to put on I have 2 organizations that I run, and one of them is a C4 and one is a C3. I am putting on my C4 hat officially for the comments that I'm going to make tonight. So this is the one where we can advocate for issues. So this is especially pertinent for this crowd here in Georgia, here in Savannah. But nationwide as well, the conservative movement is fragmenting. And it's fragmenting along ideological lines and demographic lines and identity-based lines at the very moment that I think that we need to be building a durable coalition. So Trump opened the door to new voters. I'm going to talk about that. But unless conservatives build something that is deeper than MAGA, than Trump, by focusing on broadly shared American values and showing up consistently in communities, in person, those gains will disappear. They not maybe, they will disappear, and we need to prepare for that. I propose, in order to do that, an American first approach. This is not America first, it's slightly different, American first. So this would be a movement rooted in shared values and a serious grassroots effort. Let me start off all this with a story to illustrate the divisions that are going on, and then I see especially in DC. A few months ago, I found myself in a meeting of conservative minority leaders in Washington, DC, ostensibly to talk about, strategize about how to engage minorities and how to coordinate efforts. So I expected, of course, to hear discussions about the principles, about things like opportunity and family and faith and how to communicate those things, right? At least something. I heard little, if any, of that. I don't think I heard any of that, as a matter of fact. What I heard, many of the loudest voices in the room seem less interested in advancing conservative principles and, to be blunt, racial grievances. And this was at a very conservative venue. All of you know this venue and organization. I'm not going to say what it was, but you would know it. It was shocking. And by the way, this is not an isolated instance. This was not just a one-off. Within the conservative movement, especially from the perch that I am, but I think you all see this too, we're dividing ourselves into competing tribes along those lines that I talked about, and it's more. Right? It's about gender, it's about age, ideology, organizational legitimacy, and yes, even racial grievances. Now, the organizational legitimacy, no, I'm not going to name names, but in Washington, and I think this is part of the problem, you have like these four power centers. You have one group that is representing national populism. You have one group that is representing the anti-Trump contingent. You have one group that is representing MAGA very strongly. You have another group that says everything is going out in the states and we represent that. And it's all coming to a head. And they're battling it out. That is what's going on in Washington with these national groups. And no, I'm not going to say who they are, but it is happening and you need to know that. So all this has made me wonder. The original meeting that I went to, these competing factions, are we as a movement abandoning the very principles that have made us exceptional as a country? Many things make America exceptional, correct? But namely the belief that what unites us is stronger than what divides us. And I would say arguably, it sends shivers down my spine thinking about that. Arguably, we fought a civil war over this, right? And arguably, the American Revolution was, we're going to stand together against these tyrants and put aside our differences, our factional differences. Perfect segue for what we're doing at Our America. It's a bold vision. Much of our work focuses on unity, specifically on the way in which we communicate key issues. So I am going to go back to the issue about the fissures, but just stick with me here for a second. It's all going to come together. I want to talk a little bit about what we do because it's going to help. Our mission specifically is to engage communities that the conservative movement has traditionally struggled to reach and engage with and bring them in and keep them in, right? So these are blacks, among others. These are Hispanics. These are youth audiences. And we do this by focusing on issues that matter most to them. We're not trying to convert them. You know, I'm ardently conservative in every way, shape, and form. But we start first on the issues that matter to them. So this includes law and order, this includes voter integrity, this includes religious freedom, and this includes the cost of living, which I would put that last bucket under the American dream. And yes, those issues, by the way, have been tested, as Melissa alluded to, multiple times. And across the board with all these groups, they reach supermajority status or higher, 66% or more favorability ratings. Our work at Our America has given me, we've been doing this now for 5, going on 6 years, a unique opportunity to observe not only how minority groups view conservatism, and the principles that we champion, but I think also how conservatism increasingly views these communities, which is problematic. And what I have observed has given me great, doing this in practice has given me great optimism about our chances of success, but it has also led me to some uncomfortable conclusions. For decades, conservatives and libertarians organizations invested tens of millions of dollars, maybe higher, in trying to broaden our coalition with these very groups. Now, let me just stop here for a second and underscore something. Many of these groups you all support, and they're wonderful. Truly, I mean that. There are many organizations in our movement that are doing minority outreach and that are doing youth outreach. They're great. You should continue to support them, but here are the facts. And if we didn't have them, God only knows where we'd be. The overall composition of the Republican coalition has changed little over 30 years. There has not really been any progress. Ronald Reagan won approximately 9% of the black vote in '84. 20 years later, George W. Bush won 2% more. Mitt Romney won 6% in 2012. Stays the same. Hispanic voters, it's somewhat similar, but the trend is similar, but a little bit different, a little bit higher. Reagan won about 34% of the Hispanic vote. George Bush won about 40% in 2004, and again, Mitt Romney, 27%. Everything came down from Mitt Romney. So despite decades of outreach efforts, Republicans and indeed the conservative machine, the infrastructure, has never fundamentally realigned Hispanic voters into a durable part of our coalition. I'm going to read some minds out there. I think you all might know what's coming next. Something has changed. Republicans started posting numbers in 2024 that had not been seen in generations. In 2024, Trump won approximately 16% of black voters, roughly 44% of Hispanic voters. It's one of the strongest performances in modern Republican history, and a similar shift occurred with youth voters. According to AP exit polls, he won approximately 46% of voters under 30, one of the strongest showings of Republican candidates in recent history. But there's an asterisk to this. There's a warning shot. In 2025 Virginia, New Jersey races, many of these voters have appeared to snap back into Democrat hands. This is the canary in the coal mine. In New Jersey, Mike Sherrill won about 68% of Latino voters and roughly 90% of black voters. In Virginia and New Jersey, I'm a native Virginian, a very proud Virginian. What's going on there makes me want to throw up. Democrat candidates won about 80% of women under 30. In other words, Trump has seemed to open the door, but unless we understand why these voters are snapping back, that door is going to close quickly, and we cannot assume that they are all MAGA converts. It's one of the gospels that I want to preach here today. They have not been converted. They are not staying. Black males, Hispanic males. Everyone must believe that. And by the way, a quick related tangent, especially for this group, ladies on the right. In each one of those segments, there was an interesting phenomenon. Just keep this in mind. This is a subject, but it's something that we need to think about. There was a sharp divide in all three of those segments, Hispanics, blacks, women, but youth, between men and women, right? So women are going dramatically left, especially younger women. Men are going dramatically right. What's going on there? I have some theories. So regardless, now that Trump is no longer on the ticket, and he won't be in 2028, what the heck do we do now? Now, let me tie in the fissures part. As I have reflected on all of this, and I've had to work on all of it and try a different approach and set up a new brand, I've become convinced that we need to focus less on our divisions. I know this is going to be painful here in Georgia, right? What happened this past week, there are some divisions. And more on something like a modern-day contract for America. In other words, In order to build the base out, and recruit minorities and youth audiences, we have to have a unified front. That's because if we are going to bring people into a conservative movement, it has to have a definition. It has to have meaning. It can't be everything for everybody. We can't have this division. So here's what we're doing right now. We are asking whether someone is truly a conservative. Are you a Reagan Republican? Are you a Kemp-backed conservative? Are you MAGA? Are you libertarian? Are you a national populist? Are you a freedom conservative? Are you a pro-Israeli hawk? Are you anti-Semitic? Are you a traditional values voter? Are you pro-life? If you're not pro-life, I'm not voting for you no matter what. And I am radically pro-life, by the way. I don't care. You know, I will say that to the cows come home. Not privately, thank you. Not privately, publicly, but we need to figure this out. We need to stop this fragmentation that's going on in the movement. The better approach is quite simple. It might seem too simple. And that is, the movement needs to focus on the issues that we as Americans, not as conservatives, 250th anniversary, as Americans agree on broadly. And these, by the way, are the issues that have the most impact in these local communities. It's something like Ladies on the Right. This is fantastic. You know, all politics is local. This is where it's at. What is affecting people the most in these local communities, not at the national level? And these issues include law and order, cost of living, like I said, religious freedom, voter integrity. Again, you saw this play out here, correct? We should be seeking to create, here's a goal, we should be seeking to create a new American movement that accompanies the conservative movement, where diverse voters and ideologies, internally and externally, identify as Americans first, not African Americans, not Hispanic Americans, not Irish Americans, not Asian Americans, Americans first. I'm a conservative Democrat, but I am an American first. I'm black, but I'm an American first. I am a strong first-generation Italian American, but I'm an American first. We should all dedicate ourselves this year to popularizing that idea, Americans first. When we first launched Our America, we found something very interesting in the research. The book is this big, by the way. It's absurd. No one would read it. But there's a lot of data in it. The demographic groups which we are going to be making the future of the country, everyone knows this, correct? Like the country is not going to be white. In a very short amount of time, white people aren't having kids. It's going to be black and it's going to be Hispanic and Asian. In a very short, less than 10 years. By and large, because of a great job that the left has done branding us, these groups view us, they disdain the conservative brand and the Republican brand. Disdain. However, overwhelmingly, they agree with us on the issues, and they don't know that the issues are conservative. They agree with us on our issues, but they do not know that they are conservative. They don't know that the issues are conservative. And overwhelmingly, they love America. That's the brand latch. America, America. You hear the theme that's coming out here? According to recent polling, many black, Hispanic, and young voters remain skeptical of the Republican brand, but are receptive to these conservative approaches. The promises of more and better jobs, for example, with Trump, drove people to vote for Trump. That is a conservative message. This understanding of the popularity of conservative ideas provides the basis for everything that we do at Our America. That's what we focus on, to recruit minority groups into the conservative movement by recruiting them into a new American movement. In addition, one of our key operating principles has been to go into communities in person, stay there year-round, and show them that we actually give a damn about them as Americans, in person. Not on social media, not with paid media or TV ads, in person in their communities. Now, this is very important, broadly speaking. There have been some exceptions, but this has not been the MO of the Republican Party or the conservative movement overall. We just, for some reason, we do call it civic organization or whatever you want. We don't have this mentality. I was at a national conference in Boston, and my wife took me out to do some shopping, which I could never do by myself. And she took me out, and when we were going out, there were these young people there with clipboards. You think that they were from a conservative grassroots organization? No, of course they weren't. They were from Planned Parenthood with clipboards, and they were going up and down the street asking people boldly to sign their names. We just don't think that way, but we have to. Because if you want to get Hispanic voters, you have to show up in their communities. What we do is we parachute in, at least the Republican Party, in October. Vote for me. I'm going to send in a black guy. I'm going to send in a Hispanic guy. Hey, black people, vote for us, or Hispanic people. That's the truth. In October. Then you pull up, you get out in January. Does that sound legitimate to you? Does that build credibility to you? That is what we continue to do. So we're doing the opposite. We have full-time positions in key swing states in Wisconsin, Arizona, Nevada, Pennsylvania, and yes, Georgia. Now, Georgia, it represents an interesting situation, yes, for everything that we've talked about. Georgia voted for Donald Trump in 2024. John Ossoff, as you know, is the only incumbent Senate Democrat seeking re-election in a state that Donald Trump won. He won his Senate seat by less than 55,000 votes. That's nothing. Black voters make up roughly 30% of Georgia's electorate. Black men alone make up 12% of voters in 2024, and black women another 18%. We don't need to win over every single one of their votes, nor should we try. If we make modest inroads with voters, conservatives have historically failed to reach. Georgia changes. The Senate is that much safer. I'm telling you guys everything that you patriotic Americans know. The country is that much safer. One more Senate seat, it's doable. The opportunity is right in front of us. The issues that matter to these voters are not foreign to us. These voters care about the cost of living, the American dream, right? They care about safe communities. Fully funding the police is very popular in the black community, as is voter integrity. In Georgia, perhaps any more than anywhere else, faith remains central to civic life. I've had wonderful conversations just this afternoon about faith. These are not democratic issues. Those are conservative issues. They're American issues. Yet a key principle in politics is you define or you are defined. We stink at defining ourselves because we're fighting with ourselves. So the question before us is not whether to micro-target Hispanics or blacks or women or youth. That's not the question, in my opinion, more effectively. We can, and by the way, we do that. We have a voter model where we're able to micro-target people by location, by age, by sex, by gender, how they line up with us on the issues. The more important thing, and we should do that, the more important thing is showing up in their communities and showing that we care and staying there. We have to have a united front for that effort to be successful. So this, broadly speaking, is what I wanted to talk with you all about. What can you do? Well, I don't think I need to tell you all too much what you have. You know that. But here's yet another tool in your chest. It's what we do. We have a ground game in Georgia. And the reason why is it is crucial that in these small swing states where there are a handful of elections is going to make the difference, we as Americans need to pour resources into this. So what I would like to do is have Carly, if you could, just talk a little bit more about what we do in Georgia. And then we certainly can take questions. Is that, should we do it? Where's the mistress of ceremony? There she is. Is that okay? Okay, all right. So Carly, can you just come up and give a quick overview of what we're doing in Georgia and what you did this past week?
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Christian, and good afternoon, everyone. Happy Thursday to all of you. It's an honor to be here. So as Christian was elaborating, what we're doing in Georgia is very important. I can tell you as someone, just a brief, if I may, a brief intro. I happen to be the grassroots director for Our America in the state of Georgia. I live in Atlanta Metro. I'm also an ordained minister and a multicultural strategist, so I love people. And I love what we do here because our values, our pillars really resonates with all Georgians. I've been with Our America for the last a little bit over 2 years, and sometimes people in the state, they ask me, they're wondering, why are these events successful? What's the secret sauce? I'll tell you what the reasons are. Number one, I put all my faith in the Lord. Every event that I create, I say, God, inspire me, help me to be the light. I want to bring your people together. Unity in the community is the core value of what we do in the state of Georgia. So what does that mean? I've been conducting events for the last 2 years as I knock on doors, whether it's the supermarkets, the barbershops, the restaurants, small business owners, churches, etc. There's one thing in common. We're all Americans. We're all Georgians, and every single person has a story to tell. Someone's going through a hardship in their life, and this is where, as leaders, we need to walk with great humility, great compassion, and empathy, and realize that sometimes, the pillars that we talk about, the cost of living, really affects a lot of us out there in the state of Georgia. So when we should demonstrate that love for the community, it resonates with them strongly. I got to tell you, I've been able to conduct events, town halls, workshops, financial literacy, or investment literacy workshops. Why? Because as I've been knocking on these doors, I talk to people at a one basis. I say, hey, I want to hear what's going on in your neck of the woods. And all my communities are loved. They're invested. I go all the way from rural towns of North Georgia, all the way down to the suburbs of Alpharetta, to the inner city. And every person is valuable, every person is treated with the utmost respect and dignity, and most importantly, they have a seat at our table, and they see that. Also, when I do the grassroots, and what the issue has been here has been the cost of living, I've noticed that some people have been laid off. Other folks have, lost their jobs, or they're going through some hardship. So what do I do? Hey, let's do a financial literacy or an investment literacy workshop. Just this past Sunday alone, one of our hometown heroes came up to me. He said, Carly, the financial literacy workshop that you hosted back in October, it has helped me so much that now my family can be able to generate wealth. We give out financial literacy books at the end of these events, and we just give it to our community, and it helps people. That's just one example. My events, for the most part, they are a multicultural, multi-generational, multi-working collar event. Let me be more specific. Multicultural, white, black, brown, Hispanic, or Asian. Everyone's included. What is multi-generational? From Generation Z to Generation Boomer. Millennials and Nexters are also included. And last but not least, multi-collar. Again, from the rural towns to the suburbs to the inner cities. And people have loved them. They feel like, wow, I have not, when I have a panel of experts and they are bringing their expertise on the subject matter of cost of living, whether it's a legislator, whether it's a gubernatorial candidate, whether it's a finance guru, leader, whether it's someone from the Capitol, or just simply a small business owner, whoever's part of the panel, when they share their knowledge, they share their wisdom, and then we provide the resources, people are not just inspired, but their lives change. And we see that. This is why they keep coming back over and over to these events. And to hear their testimonies is really remarkable, and it just gives me the passion and the fuel to keep on going. This past Sunday, I hosted an activist training here in the state of Georgia, which consisted of two major areas. The first one was minority outreach, followed by an on-camera broadcasting. Why? And we actually partnered with the Leadership Institute and another company to do a professional film. And I got to tell you, it was once again a tremendous success. Why? Because we are in tune to what's needed in the community. We discuss voter contact, the different methods of outreach, and other things that's going to prepare and equip our leaders on the ground throughout the state of Georgia. We had folks that drove from Valdosta, 4 hours away to attend the event. We also had leaders that showed up from Warner Robins, Macon, and when I hear our fellow Georgians that drove, Georgia traffic is crazy, right? At least 2 hours just to get one way. To hear these incredible people show up at the events because word of mouth or because they've attended at our events previously, they're like, no, this keeps changing my life. This keeps making an impact for myself and my family. Again, this is what resonates to our leaders, to our hometown heroes, and again, it gives me the fuel to keep on going. So as I close, I'm very proud, and I just want to thank Christian for allowing me to serve our incredible people in the state. There's some incredible talent in the state of Georgia. I love coming to Savannah, and I will say this, one of the things that I can tell you just from the feedback from the hometown heroes and my panelists from different backgrounds, people are hungry for truth. People are hungry for integrity. People are hungry for authenticity. And you know what? It can be counterfeit. People see right through. But when you show you care and you show empathy and you have a desire that you want to make an impact, you want to empower that leader, or you want to provide them resources, or that you simply believe in that person, you are the difference that can make a powerful impact. I will share this with you with Gen Z. Gen Z, they're incredible. And I see a lot of wisdom in this room. And I remember they told me, they said, Carly, what Gen Z wants is we want to be poured into. We want the American dream. We are hungry for truth, so you can't gaslight us because we're always on our phones getting all our information. But they want the older generations to step up and say, pour into us. Give us your wisdom. Give us your experience. We want to accomplish and obtain the same things that you have obtained. So I share that with all of you because when we meet them where they are and we listen to them, whether it's Gen Z or the Black community or women or veterans or white men or our Black community, I'm telling you, we have so much in common. It's incredible. And all the lies of division, no, we are Americans. I am proud to be a part of our America. I would love to continue to present that message to you all. I would love to meet you where you are, and how I can equip you, how can I prepare you, how to bring more people to the fold, and get that talent out here and get involved, and that way we can continue to make progress and continue to advance the movement in a positive, united, and effective way. So I bless you all, and thank you so much. Have a good one. Thank you, Christian.
So you can see the passion that Carly brings. It's very important in building these genuine relationships. But to get to nitty gritty, understand everyone, the bottom line is for this year, we build those relationships to basically get people, persuade them to vote with us. So that's the critical work here that's involved. Voter registration efforts, get out the vote efforts. And there's two sides of that. One is you identify them digitally, you reach out to them digitally, and you bring them in and you sort them on issues, which is what we're actively doing right now. And that's like you want to call that a persuasion file. And then we take that cohort of folks in Georgia and we give them to Carly and the other state directors. Then they reach out to them and they bring them to their events and they train them and they basically bring them into our fold and educate and persuade them, and then they activate them. So there is a digital component, but it's married with the grassroots component. So I don't know if we want to take questions or what I want to stick to the program. I know there's a minute by minute program, so I want to respect the program, but what shall we do? 5 or 10 minutes. Okay, perfect. Does anyone have any questions? I'm happy to mix and mingle after. Yes, ma'am, please. Yes, go ahead. No, the black and white, and then, yes, please.
I don't know if I can yell so you can hear me.
I can hear you, yeah.
Just one comment. John Ossoff was elected in 2020, and I think we could credit Fulton County for that. But aside from that, this effort to get out into the broader community with the values of conservatism, that's something that I've been preaching for a while for Chatham County GOP.
Yeah.
The sticking point is we tried joining the Hispanic Chamber, and that worked a little bit, but how do you get out? That's the thing. How do you get into the communities, not just right before elections, but creating those relationships? I think those workshops that you talked about, that's a great idea, but how do you get the word out? How do you know how to communicate with each different community?
Well, very carefully. So I don't mean to be flip, but the way you do it is to the word that keeps on, this is not the right word, it's a battle of attrition. In other words, you have to stay in those communities. In January of 2027, you have to stay there, and you have to network with all of the leaders in the various communities. So the chamber is one, but chambers are not always good. They're not always, if we're talking amongst friends, sometimes they are, sometimes they're not. The way that we do it, this is a page out of, no one punch me when I say this because they're just better at it. This is a page out of the Obama campaign. You recruit your volunteers to be your workers. We can't do it all, right? So Carly, I don't know if you all caught, we have a program called Hometown Heroes. Hometown Heroes are people that we bring into our audience, but then they take an extra step. They fill out a form that says, I want to go to events, I want to go to voter registration events, postcard parties to get people to register to vote. Those people then act as ambassadors in their community, organized around the state directors. That's broadly speaking. Number two is you create chapters. Some of this is very fundamental, but you get your volunteers to do the work for you. They are like ambassadors. Does that make sense? You embed them in the community, but then they do the work for you. That's the way that you do. I cannot show up in these communities. I mean, look at me. So I'm not the right guy, but Carly can. And the people that she recruits as hometown heroes can. What was the name of the guy that, the black guy that is a newly recruited hometown hero, and he is our representative to the, or maybe we better not say his name, but Jared.
Yeah, he's the liaison for Black Outreach at the Georgia Capitol.
He's a volunteer. So he's our liaison to the Georgia State Capitol. He's our America liaison. So volunteers, that you build that core of people. This takes time. All donors need to know this. This is an intergenerational thing. This is not, everyone needs to understand this, and you need to tell your peers this if you're donors. This is not something that you can snap and set up, election winning. We're going to do that. But it's going to take longer. It's going to take, 20 or so years to do this truly effectively. If people tell you otherwise, that's on them. Maybe they can deliver. Look at the results that I just gave to you. Those are unassailable about, the composition. It's going to take a long time to do this. Any other questions or comments? Yes, ma'am.
Well, I see the press and the problems that the conservatives are up against with the press, but I also do not see the Republican Party really addressing the problems of bringing the people to the Republican Party.
Yeah.
I haven't seen one word about how it was the Republicans that brought citizenship and voting rights to the black community.
Mm-hmm.
Who was the first president that allowed that to happen? A Republican. We don't hear any of this. They're taught this in school. We have not heard that the president of Ku Klux Klan was the head of the Democratic Party.
Right.
We don't hear any of this.
Yeah.
We need help from the National Committee to get some of this information.
Good luck with that. That sounds so cynical. So where I worked right before this, 5 years ago, I worked for 11 years for the Media Research Center. And I will tell you one thing that will go a long way, and I frankly don't know how we do this. Our candidates need more testicular fortitude when it comes to, right, when it comes to confronting the media. So because there are all opportunities that are laid out in front of them. When you hear this garbage, that is spewed by the media, what they should do is they should say, stop, hold on a second, let's correct the record. And you go on offense. And why this doesn't happen, I do not know. I do not know. I think that they conflate, being effective at campaigning with not being confrontational, but politics is a confrontational game. So I think like that is number one, is media bias is an opportunity to set the record straight.
But we don't fight the media bias.
I'll tell you one thing the Republican Party could do is they could hold workshops with their candidates on how to confront the media. They could do that. I remember DeSantis was fantastic at this. Whatever you think about it, he would just humiliate them well, Trump does the same thing. Sometimes he goes a little bit overboard, but, does anybody not think anymore that the media aren't biased? No. Everyone, at this point, everyone's like, oh, ABC, NBC, CBS, what a joke. They still have a great deal of, what's that? Oh, gosh, yeah. Well, I don't know. Do you think there was some cheating that was going on involved in? Yeah, I think probably so too. I don't know. To what degree do you think that was a serious campaign? Maybe. I think that was maybe. I'll stop there. But politicking is a very serious campaign. So I think that part of what he went up against was a machine, and that just was not going to let him get elected. But another part, I'm not sure he took his campaign seriously. Anyone else? Thoughts, comments? Yes, ma'am, please.
We have a problem here in Georgia with down ballot voting, and especially since the governor is, Keisha Bottoms is going to be difficult, and so what do we do about Ossoff? He's right below.
Yeah. Carly, I don't know if you have any tactical advice. I think that to some degree, this is just a matter of pushing more people to register to vote early and voting early. So, we're going to have to, I know none of us like election month, election campaign, but part of, here's one snippet part, in order to defeat Democrat incumbents, I personally think a key part of this is, that we embrace early registration, early voting, and getting, I don't want to say creative, that sounds bad, but figuring out ways to get more people to vote with us. The Democrats I think oftentimes the margin comes from ballot harvesting. So I don't want to harvest any ballots, but I don't know, do you have a thought about how, and then Carly, I would love to hear if you have any brilliant ideas yet, but
Fulton County mails out ballots.
yeah. Carly, do you have any thoughts or comments or, brilliant ideas?
I think the message and the delivery is very important. That's the core.
Okay. Anybody else? Nope. Okay. Well, thank you very much.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Christian.
Thank you. Thank you.
And thank you, Carly. This was great. And we do have a little donation for you.
Oh, thank you. Thank you.
for
Thank you.
Our America.
Thank you. Thank you all very much. Thanks, guys.
And
Yes.
you have to earn your keep here.
Okay.
So we
Gosh, what do I have
need
to do?
for you to pick our raffle winner. And here
Oh.
comes David.
Oh, that's not, okay, that's easy. I thought I was going to have to do 50 push-ups.
Oh, no. You're going to make somebody happy
Yeah.
because
Who gave
they're going to win $160.
Who was it that gave me the envelope to pay me off here? Okay. Oh, my gosh.
Here, I can do it.
Oh, no, hold on. All right, ready?
Everybody ready?
I hate doing this business. 453227.
453227.
No 453227? Oh, winner, winner!
Come on down for $160.
Come on down. All right, there you go. Is that all I have to do?
That's all you have to do.
That's not bad.
But we certainly appreciate
Thank you,
all the
thank you,
information
thank
that you all shared with us.
So we have investor reports that you all can see some of the work that we've just done around the table, specifically this year. We don't have them for everybody. And then, of course, if we would love your support. Thank you, ladies on the right, for this. And we'd love for you to get more involved, and Carly and I will be here. So thank you all very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Christian. So we have the winner, and I have your money here. So thank you all for coming today, and enjoy a wonderful summer with your families and your friends. And don't forget, when you're loving on your family and friends, to talk about the awesomeness of our country and how it is a beacon of hope to the world, which sometimes we as Americans kind of take for granted. So go create your legacy. God bless you, and God bless yours, and God bless America.